you've, with regard to ancient Egyptians, I kind of thought it would be cool to tell a story about a dinosaur that kind of reminds you of a samurai or a cowboy, and I wanted to make it a singular character. And so what I do is I kind of develop the story in my head, write a few notes, but then I actually take a small notebook and I create little pages of the rough layouts of each individual page. So I rough out the entire story, and then after that, what I do is take each of those little rough pages and blow them up and create the final images.
Oh, that is excellent.
And so then once I do that, I do what are called value studies for each of the pages, and those are gray studies that explain the shadows, the lights, the darkness in the foreground or the light in the background, and I also create color schemes for each of the dinosaurs. And all that is sent to the colorist, and the colorist then colors the issue.
Now, those color schemes, those are just wow. I mean, how do you come up with something like you look at say in ancient Egyptians, I believe that was what, Carcharodontosaurus, the ones that were eating the little in the issue 2?
Yeah, the Carcharodontosaurus are meat-eating dinosaurs that are more allosaurs. They're related to allosaurs, I believe, and I thought it would be cool to color them like tigers,
Yeah, and I awesome.
Oh, thank you, and I appreciate that. And they are. I wanted them to be a pack, but also one of them to be distinguishable from the others, and that's why the leader has a darker pattern on its head, and yet the others sort of feel similar, but you look at that one individually. A lot of my color choices are based on Egyptian birds for this series.
Yeah, it's very.
Except for the lead Spinosaurus. That's just a flat, almost gray, almost black dinosaur. It's based on the cottonmouth moccasin from the southern United States.
That's where that pattern, that slight pattern on them.
That's right.
Very slight.
Well, that's sort of that slight jagged line is an homage to the poncho of for Clint Eastwood in the Fistful of Dollars films.
Oh, very nice.
Well, I'm a big fan of those three films, and the Kurosawa films, Jimbo and Sanjuro as well. So those, my story is a humble homage to those really classic stories.
That is awesome.
Thank you.
Now that female Spinosaur color scheme, that kind of it brought back the Shrek dragon, somewhat.
Yeah, I colored it brightly, even though in nature it's usually the male that's brightly colored.
Yeah.
But I felt like I had established the notion of I wanted the male to be sort of dark and angular and sort of brooding and foreboding, and so then I wanted the female to be the contrast to that. And so it's based on two animals, the pheasant and the ringneck snake. So almost all of the dinosaur patterns are based on real animals, existing animals. Yeah, that's very important to me.
And I say that came out very well.
Oh, you're very kind. Thank you.
And I just love how you use a lot of these dinosaurs that you don't know. Most people see like T-Rex and Raptor, and how often do you get a pack of Ceratosauruses like in what was it, Tribal Warfare?
Yeah.
That was just awesome. That blew me away.
Thank you very much.
Wow, you focus on the details, like the ocean scenes. That's just incredible.
Thank you. I actually, honestly, a lot of people roll their eyes at me when I say this, but I'm not a big fan of the first two series anymore. Everyone, I find like that was very young, a very long time ago, and when I was young in my career, and I was a young man, and I feel like the journey and ancient Egyptians represents more of what I'm capable now as a storyteller.
Oh,
yeah.
I'd say it's came a long way, but it's always been amazing. And
thank you. I think it's important to make the reader see different things the second and third time to read the story. Like in Ancient Egyptians, I have little gags in each of the corners of the panels of the individual panels, and I think it's important to do that so that the viewer has a different experience as they read the stories over and over again. Hopefully, anyway.
I caught that with the little snakes and
yeah, there's little snakes and little lizards and toads and stuff like that. I find that to be really important. What I kind of want to try to do is I use those animals to give scale to the dinosaurs as well. If that makes sense, right?
Yeah, very much.
So like, there's little stingrays and stuff in the lagoons.
The turtles.
All that stuff, it gives scale to the animal. It reminds you that those characters are anywhere between 20 and 50 feet long, right?
Yes.
Like the big long neck dinosaurs, those are parallel-titans, and they were just enormous dinosaurs. And I wanted them to feel just gargantuan, and that's why I drew them, from low angles and from with little animals floating around that would inform you of their scale constantly.
Just the size of these masses.
Yes, it's important for me to see that the audience understands that, okay, well, there's these characters that are sort of telling the story, but are part of the story, but also that there's an ecology around them that still exists today. Like There's crocodiles in the story, there's sharks in the story. I had a short story last year that I published, that Dark Horse published, that was about baby turtles and their journey through all these enormous prehistoric reptiles, and I wanted there to be little birds and stuff. There's seagulls and stuff in that story. It's a lot of fun.
What was the name of that story?
It's called Baby Turtles.
Baby Turtles.
And it was published in Dark Horse Presents number 5. It's a short story. It's an 8-page story, but it's something that it's something that's going to feel. Every story should feel different of its own accord, and but I still want there to be those those basic elements. The simple story, but the size comparison to animals of today, and yet they should also be colored like animals of today. Like in that Baby Turtle story, there's mosasaurs, and I had them colored like killer whales.
Kind of like the end of Journey.
Absolutely, yes. The Journey, my favorite scene in the story is the big fight between the T-Rex and the mosasaur. I was pretty happy with that.
That was one of my favorite fights in comics.
Oh, you're very kind.
Yes, I mean, wow.
That was a lot of work, but I thought it paid off quite well.
You had us thinking who was going to win that one, because you'd see T-Rex get pulled under, then you'd see mosasaur.
Right.
And it just, wow, it paid off.
Thank you. And in the end, I didn't want a victor, because my statement was that it's the master of the land versus the master of the sea, and no quarters given or taken, but they all each stays master of the respective domains.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah, thank you.
Out very well.
You're very kind. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And would you ever consider, my last question,
okay,
would you ever consider doing an Ice Age kind of story, like maybe Age of Ice or
Age of Mammals? Maybe I'd call it Age of Reptiles / Age of Mammals. I don't know, but I have thought about it because I'm a big fan of the Smilodons.
Oh,
I am. I grew up going to my parents would take me to the La Brea Tar Pits. I would insist when I was a kid, and it's very important to me that I do one. When I do it, I don't know, but let's just say that's something that's been on my mind a lot. Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It's been in my mind, like, wow, what if Ricardo Delgado put out an Ice Age thing? I mean.
No, I certainly have thought about it, because there's all kinds of cool species of mammals in there, and I'm not against the idea. Let's put it that way. When that happens, I don't know. I finished Ancient Egyptians officially the day before Comic-Con. I finished it Wednesday, or was it Tuesday? I forget. But I finished it, and then I put that to bed. And now I'm getting ready to do the next series. And there's still a few surprises left
Yes, we're
in
getting
the in the Mesozoic. Let's put it that way.
Yes, you just made my day.
Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so well, this has been a real honor to be in your presence interviewing you.
Well, you're very kind to say that. Thank you. I enjoy my silly, humble stories. I don't take them very seriously, but I like them, and I hope everybody else does too.
We do.